artificial intelligence. We have heard about generative AI. Okay, so when we talk about generative AI, it's like generating a new content. Okay, the way Chat GPT does for us. Maybe we are trying to say Chat GPT that why not you create one beautiful image? So they will create a beautiful image. So it's like text, you are giving prompt as a text and it is converting it into some images. So it is also creating a new content. Okay. So we call it a modality. Okay. There is a word called modality. More than one, modality. Maybe it's a text, text to text, text to image, image to image, maybe image to text. There are different modality what LLM can handle. Okay. So when we say agentic AI, there are a few terms that I will be explaining. Okay. And the framework is CrewAI. Okay. It's like a Kevin Crew. And I'll explain why we call it as a CrewAI. Okay. Where they have taken inspirations from. Okay. Now, there are a few things that we will touch today. And, what is AI agent and what makes a system agentic? Okay. So there are a few diagrams that I will be explaining. And at the end of, or you can say in this session is divided into first, we'll talk about the concept part of AI agent, agentic AI, or the framework AI. And in the later part of today's session, we'll do one lab demonstration that how we can use this agentic framework and how we can solve our business problem. Okay. And there are also some of the agentic framework that I was just talking about is again the CrewAI. And every single Saturday and Sunday, will I'll explain the different agentic framework. So you'll have a lot of frameworks in your plate, and that can help you to put it in your resume. Okay, because right now the kind of hiring is happening are more based on the agentic AI knowledge. Okay. So the CrewAI that we'll talk, and we'll see that the how other frameworks also works in coming classes. Okay. And there are few things that is the building block of CrewAI. So there are terms called agent, task, crew, process, tools, and flows. So don't get confused about these new terms. Just remember it. There are the few terms related to CrewAI. So when I talk about CrewAI, we'll talk about agent, task, crew, process, and tools. Okay, and there would be some flows. There are also some of the things that I'll talk about. This point is LLM layers. So for any of the generative AI or agentic AI solutions, whenever you work on any of the smallest or tiniest project, you have to use any of the LLM. So what is LLM? LLM is large language model. But whenever I say LLM, just think of it as a Chat GPT based, something like that. So Chat GPT uses GPT 5.0. Earlier it was 4.1, GPT 4.1. It's a version of those LLMs. And that makes us to query those LLMs. So the Chat GPT is built on top of LLM. Okay. So the LLM could be, there are multiple LLM in the market. One is a Grok, there is a Claude model. You might have seen the Claude. Apart from this Chat GPT, you might be using Claude. Gemini is there. There are Perplexity is there. So there are different models, you name it. Okay. There is also Grok. Grok, there is also GROK, GROQ. There are different models. Okay. And also there are something that I'll talk about is fire crawler. It's again a web tool. Okay. And how we'll see that how this Grok, or maybe you can say the CrewAI, is gonna work. Okay. These are the some topics that I'll cover it, and it makes you will start going into from generative AI era to agentic era. Okay. Now There are the few things that let me explain here. So if you see on the screen, there are things that is talking about AI agent. Okay. So you might have seen on the right side, just see a chatbot. So whenever you give any prompt, okay, so chatbot, what it does, you give a single prompt and it gives you one reply. So if you see on the right side, okay, if you see on the right side, there is a one prompt. Okay, let me pick this up. So if you see, there is a one prompt and it gives you one reply. Okay, so this is a chatbot. But when it comes to agent, so if you give a prompt, it will think and then it will use some tools. It observe, repeat, and then it gives you answer. So what is the difference between this chatbot and agent? So normal chatbot had only LLM and you give a prompt to LLM and LLM gives you human-like response. That's all. That we call it as a plain chatbot. But when we deal with agent, agent is nothing, but it has a thinking capability, having the capacity of using these tools, can interact with the external environment. Let me bring one analogy. Okay, for example, we all are human. We have some capabilities. We cannot do every single task, and we are very different from each other. Okay, someone may be good in handling some problems, but possibly not that you can also handle the same problem. Okay, so there is some inefficiency in each one of us. So LLM are also insufficient in some of the knowledge extraction. For example, if I ask chat gpt to give me the weather of Bangalore today, possibly he cannot reply me back with the current weather situation of Bangalore because they do not have a current information. They cannot fetch it, okay, right now. But if you ask any of the models, those who have access to the internet through the tool calling, so if you see, there is a word called tool. Okay, so tool basically help agent to fetch the current informations. Okay, that is why the agentic era, people are relying more on the agents because they have updated informations now. They can interact with the external environment, they can interact with the tools and give you the updated information. So that is the difference between any of the chatbot and any of the agentic AI tools. Both look similar, but the way they operate is the difference in terms of the tooling, the tool call. Okay. Now, if you see, every agent has a persona, has some goals, will interact with the tools, and has a memory. Just think of a person who are, you might have seen in our society, there are very influential persons. Why we call them as influential? Reason is that they have a reach to different sections of a people. They can reach out to different people. Okay, so they have this some features. You can call it as a tool. Tool means a specific features. For example, if a person has a lot of friends, so we can think of it as a tool. They have a different tools. Whenever they will be in a problem, they can call XYZ tools. Okay. So that is why they are influentials and they can, solve their problems easily. So the agent is like a specific task executor. So that we call it as an agent. Got it? Now, if you have some, let's say if you are working on a research analysis, so you will create some kind of a research analyst agent that will crawl the websites and it will read entire websites and create a summary for you. Okay, so LLM and this agent has some difference in terms of the tools. If you see, there is something what makes LLM and agent are different is this, only this tool. Okay, so whenever there is a tool calling, it will make your LLM inbuilt feature, you can say, give accessibility to become an agent. So now, when we say agentic AI, it is like giving legs and wings to LLM. So if ChatGPT has ability to interact with external tools, they can fetch some of the current tools and then it gives you the updated information. It means you are giving legs and wings to the LLM so it can fly, right? Right now, LLM has a frozen informations. They have a cutoff date. That is why they give you some of the informations which are very outdated now. That is why we are relying more on this agentic here. Okay. So let me cross it and let me move to the next section. Just give me some seconds. Cross it. Okay. Now, if you see this one, AI agent and agentic AI. Okay. So the difference is again kind of autonomy. So there are two terms that I'm using right now. One is AI agent and other one is agentic AI. Okay, what is the difference between these two? So when I say AI agent, so it has some of the limitations. It is like a single specialized person doing your task. Okay, that is AI agent. For example, a customer support automations and internal enterprise search. If you want to do this, so you will be using this AI agent only. A single specific task you are trying to achieve. Second one is email filtering. Okay, so that specific task is done through this AI agent. You require only one specific task. Something called personalized content, a recommendation engine design. Is if you want to work on that, it will have this this AI agent. Okay. Autonomous scheduling assistant, if you want to just schedule a single task, then you will use this AI agent. Okay. But what is the beauty of agentic system? So when there is a word called agentic, it means there will have some of the autonomy. There will have a multiple agent talking to each other. Okay. There would be some kind of a collaborations between different agents. We'll talk about multi-agents and there will be autonomy. Autonomy means they have the self, you know, they can take decisions on your behalf. They do not need intervention of anyone unless and until we bring human in the loop. That is the autonomy that agentic AI enjoy. And agentic AI, whenever you work on agentic AI, there would be the tool call. So tool is nothing but it's sometime it is like a functions or APIs. For example, the weather APIs. Right now, any of the LLM will not have the current weather informations. So what if you give them the current weather informations in form of the APIs, any of the chatbot having those APIs integrated as a tool will serve as a AI agent or agentic AI if there are multiple agents talking to each other. Okay. And there is something called multiple steps reasoning again. So whenever you give a task to agentic AI systems, first it tries to break it into small parts, small pieces, and then they act on that. It is not like that, if the task is huge, it will start working on the huge task. Internally, it divides the task into small pieces or small plans, and then they try to act smartly if whether they look if they need some kind of a tool or not, then they decide. Once they have these steps broken, the problem broken into subtask. And now there is one more term that is called memory. Okay, so what is so much about this memory? Okay, memory means it remembers the previous conversations. Okay, for example, if you check with your chat GPT, if you ask something, and if after 2 hours, if you are asking the similar questions, first they will tell you that the earlier you have asked this one. So they will store the critical informations within that chat. So that is the memory. Memory means storing the previous conversations history, putting in the memory. Okay. And then the collaborations. Collaborations means again talking to multiple agent. So when I say multiple agent, there would be two, three agent talking to each other. For example, if you are building on some of the applications where there would be some wave scraper agent. Okay, so there would be one agent, then second agent would be analyzing those wave scrap data, and third agent would be, let's say, summarizing those wave agent data. So there would be three agent. So in that case, we'll say they must collaborate. If they are not working in collaborations, how you are going to achieve, the end goal, right? So that is why the beauty of agentic AI is that it will have some autonomy. It has the tool calling capability, can do this multiple steps reasoning, and will have a memory so that they can remember the past conversations, and ability to collaborate with the different agents. So they do have also orchestration facilities. They can orchestrate. So that is why to orchestrate those agents, we need some of the agentic AI framework. And today I'll talk about this Crew AI. Okay. Now, if anyone has any questions, you can ask. Let me stop sharing my screen. If anyone has any questions, then you can ask. Okay. So let me share my screen again, and let me show you a Crew AI. 1 minute, where I was. Just 30 seconds, just give me. Yeah, can you see my screen? Can anybody confirm once?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. If anyone has any question, you can ask directly. Okay. Now, I'm talking about this Crew AI. So I'm just also sharing this URL and the chat. Let me, is there any facility to share? Within the chat, let me share it. Okay. Now, if you can see my screen, there is something called CrewAI. Okay. So let me walk you through this CrewAI. We have this websites. So this is again an agentic AI framework where we can do this multi-agent orchestration. Orchestration means how multiple agent will talk to each other, how they will sync in. Okay, so that is something we talk about this multi-agent orchestration. Okay, so CrewAI is a framework that will help. Okay, so now if you see this screen, there are open source doc resources pricing. Okay, so we can leverage this one. Okay, and also there is something called demonstration is there. Also it gives you in the UI way that you can also use it, but we will use it in a Python script that how we can build some of the agents. Okay, these are some low code no code approach where we can create different agents. Okay, if you go down, it's a no code, but if we require this CLI based, so okay, so this is again a CLI based. Okay, and create some of the agents in the Python. Okay, you can create it, customize it, and a lot of stuffs that you can do. Okay, now if I go down, so there are different organizations that they are using this Crew AI framework. Okay, to create some of the production grade agentic AI systems. So if you see, these are the organizations, they are using this framework. Okay, now if I go down, so the few things that because of the agentic AI framework, we're trying to automate, okay, the workflows, systems, right? So here I'm just trying to explain that looking at this Crew AI, don't get confused. We'll use it their SDKs in our Python script, and it's easy for us to create and work on some of the use cases. Okay, and then we'll get to know that the how and where this Crew AI will fit in our use cases. Okay, it's not like everywhere it will fit in, but depends on the use case where we need orchestrator. If there are multiple agents that we have created and we want all agent to talk to each other, okay, in a some maybe the linear fashion or non-linear fashion as well. So in that case, we require this Crew AI. Okay, now if I go down, okay, so there are some of the use cases, okay, and that you can read out. This is also some of the reference material, okay, that you can go and read it out, okay. So if you have something called multi-agent workflows that you can work on. So there is a term that is used here is workflows. So when we say workflows, it means there would be some fixed path. For example, if you want to upload some of the document, so obviously there would be some files and you will upload it and it will store in some database. So it is a linear process. It's a fixed path. So whenever you see this term workflows, it means it's a fixed path they are talking about, but it has a multiple agent and they will follow the fixed path. They will do some fixed or linear in a linear way. If X happens, then Y will happen, right? So it's a linear, it's a fixed path. Okay. That is why this workflows is used. Okay. Now, if I go down, there is a try now. Also, you can try it out. And also, this is a no-code approach. Also, you can use, the Python SDKs. Okay. Now, let me go down. So how, because this is also giving us an interface. Once you have these subscriptions, you can use it, but now we don't need, okay? So also if you need some demos and all that, so you can reach out to CrewAI. And this is again, the agent, how they are creating it. So they are training and then they are running, then they are tracing it and then they are evaluating this agent system. So this is how it works typically, okay? Now, if I go down, so there are some of the numbers. If you see that the how much agentic workflows ran per month. So just see that how much they have used 450 millions. Okay, and the users that sign up per week is 4,000. Okay, and 60% of the Fortune 500 companies are using this CrewAI framework. Okay, so there are different way. You can also look at this CrewAI, and it's one of the best platform I would say to start with any of the agentic framework. Before you start learning any of the agentic framework, I would suggest to go with this CrewAI first because it gives you a solid base understanding of how to use this CrewAI. Okay, now let me stop sharing my screen and let me share my PPT here. Okay. So again, let me go ahead and share my PPT. So if I share my screen and if you see this my PPT, so if you see this PPT, okay. So there are three things that I just wanted to explain you in terms of AI agentic AI. Okay. So I mean, how it is similar, different, and whether it is confusing for us, right? So this, this PPT will help us to, if even if you have some confusion, you can go through it because something which is very comprehensive here. And for example, in the left side, if you see, there is something called generative AI. Okay, so let's understand this one because at concept wise, I would say if this is clear, then you will understand what is Gen AI, AI agent, and agentic AI. Okay. So as I was explaining the generative AI earlier, okay. So when you create a new content, so focus is content generation. So the focus of any of the Gen AI application is to create a new content. Okay. Maybe text, image, text to text. There are different modality that they work on. So it has a capability of Gen AI has capability of text generation, image. It can create code, audio, video. Okay. Also can summarize and translate content, create content generations, answer questions, and providing information. So if you see, all these things are aiming at creating a new content. Okay. So the beauty of this Gen AI is that we just give some prompt. That is why it's an input. And then it goes on to the model and then it creates some output. Okay. So this is our agentic AI. Basically, this is generative AI having one input, having a prompt, passing through this any LLMs and giving us a human-like response is the task of, or you can say the workflows or architecture of generative AI. It's just generating content for you. Okay. nothing else. Whatever is there inside their LLM, based on those and taking your input as a prompt, creating a new content for you. That is a generative AI. Okay. And what all models we can use in Gen AI. Okay. If you see, there are a few models in Gen AI. Okay. So we have a DALE Mid Journey for images. So DALE is again by OpenAI. So it creates from text to images. So if you tell them to create a sketch of a dog, they will create one image. Okay. So but they need some of the LLM. So here LLM is DALE. Okay. Also, there is something called GitHub Copilot. So they are also integrated with LLMs. They have a generative AI. Okay. To work on your any of the codes. Runway synthesia is something where if you want to generate videos, for example, if you have a text, if you want to generate a video, for example, you want to create some brand, marketing videos. Let's say short videos for, let's say, let's say 30 seconds marketing video you just want to create. So you will give a prompt, you will specify about the product and it will give you a video, right? So isn't it interesting? So it is one of the huge cases of Gen AI. A lot of companies are using AI powered marketing videos and then they use it, play in a millions, right? So now every single industry are using this Gen AI, some or in other form, right? So Gen AI we know, but what about the AI agent? I'll talk agentic AI later. So once we say AI agent, so agent has some of the specific goal. If you see these flows had some of the goals, set goals. What could be the set goals? So goals would be, for example, if you are giving this AI agent a goal to summarize a content from the website. So that would be the goal. So they also need some planner. Okay. And then they need some executor. And then they will achieve some of the goals. The goal is to summarize the content from the web. So these are the paths of AI agent. The planning could be done through any of the LLM, but we need executor. Executor means have some of the tools because LLM alone cannot give the information of any of the websites because they do not have information of the web. They cannot scrap the website data. For example, you have created 5 days back, a websites have a lot of informations about your product and services that you offer, let's say for a e-commerce. But do this LLM ChatGPT knows your website? No, they cannot know your website even if you put their URL because they do not have crawler facility. They cannot crawl to each and every pages of your websites. You need some tools, right? So executor would act as a tool here. So AI agent will always connect with some of the external tools to execute your task, to achieve your goal, right? So things that I just want you to understand with the AI agent is that they'll have some of the tool calling. We'll have something which LLM cannot do alone. We need some extra friends to give to execute the task. LLM alone cannot do that. You need some extra support. Support will come from a tool. Here, if I'm saying a tool, it's an executor. Who gonna execute it, right? You need someone to help these LLMs. Planning can be done through the LLM, but execution can only be done through this tool calling. Tool calling means web crawler tool. Those tools can crawl your websites, get information back, and give it back to the LLM. LLM could be OpenAI LLM, Claude, Grok, any LLM, right? And why we need LLM? Because it gives response in a human way, natural language. That is the beauty of LLM. Okay, now if anyone has any questions, you can put in. But now there is something called agentic AI. Okay, when I say agentic AI, we'll have a multiple agent talking to each other. Okay, just think of multiple specialized person doing some specific task and then executing the goal, right? So the beauty of agentic AI is that when you give any of the task, they will perceive first. Okay. Perceive means if the task is used, let's say there are huge, there are a lot of tasks within your task. Let's say if you have given some objective, let's say, so let's say you are given a task to, create 5 days holiday plan and then book a ticket to, let's say, through some of the websites, book the ticket, book the flight ticket. Okay. So it's not like a single task. There are multiple tasks involved in it. So in that case, agentic AI will come into play. So there is a one word that I just want to specify it, and also you remember it. There is a word called act. So if I say here act, just see this word is important. So agentic AI will always act. So the person who act will fall under this agentic AI. A person who perceives things, put reasonings, and then they act. Okay. There are a couple of cases in our life we don't act, right? So we'll fall under AI agent. Then we behave like an AI agent. We are not falling into agentic AI. So when we start acting on those task objectives, then we will be called ourselves as a agentic AI, that we are into agentic AI. We are doing something agentic AI. Just think of a use case that I have explained right now, that we are planning a 5 days holiday and you are asking agent to book ticket for you and also schedule this flight. Okay. So this can't be done through any of the LLM. The thinking part that you see is done through the LLM. So think of thinking part as a chat GPT. Okay, this is the reasoning part. This is the LLM. Okay, so the perceive is something that you are giving an objective, that plan my 5 days holiday and book ticket and schedule it, let's say. Okay, so this is a perceptions. This is a goal. It will, your AI, agentic AI system will perceive, will break those plans into a smaller subtask, and then it will pass it on to LLM. Once it is passed to LLM, what LLM will see? It is saying that 5 days holiday plan. Second, it will see, book flight ticket. Third, it will schedule it and put it into calendar. Let's say there are 4 tasks. And it will see, the LLM will see that they do not have capability to reach out to the external tools. So they will reach out for the help because they cannot book ticket. Can chat GPT book ticket? No. They need some of the external tools, some of the APIs. Okay, some of the the flight booking services they need. So for that we need tools. So we will provide these tools and then they will act. Action means they will book flight ticket for us and schedule it and in our Google Meet or whatever you call it. Okay, calendar. Book the calendar for us. So that is the action part. Okay. So the beauty of AI agent and agentic AI is the only action part. They act autonomously. That is the beauty of this AI agent and agentic AI. Okay. So that makes a difference between this AI agent and agentic AI. Okay. So now,
Excuse
if
me, sir. Sir,
anyone has any question?
yes, sir. Sir, I didn't understand the difference between agentic AI and AI agent.
Okay. So when we say AI agent, it is like one specialized person. Let's say in a let's say in a medical domain, there is one surgeon who is specialized in some XYZ disease. So they are the surgeon in specialized in only one task. Okay. So we call it as a AI agent. So AI agent can execute a single task very beautifully. That is AI agent. But they cannot act. Got it? They cannot act. For example, the one example that I have given you is, the travel industry. And if you're asking, AI agent, let's say, that plan 5 days holidays trip to Manali, let's say. So LLM can help you. Any chat GPT can help you to plan it. They will give you a plan 5 days. But when you tell them to book ticket, they cannot. That is the action part that you need, that your expectation is from the LLM. That cannot do. That is a tool. And through that tool, action will come. So that is agentic AI. Got it?
Okay, sir. Got it.
So agentic AI, when we say a system that you worked on is agentic AI, when they start taking action. When the system doesn't take action, it will fall under either GenAI or AI agent. If there is some tool calling, then it will fall under AI agent. Otherwise, it will be generative AI. Talking to ChatGPT is one of the classical example of GenAI. But talking to ChatGPT, taking help of any of the external tools to get our response back is an example of AI agent. But at the same time, talking to ChatGPT, taking the help of tools, and then there is some action by the agent, by the ChatGPT, will fall under agentic AI. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now, okay, where I was, where was,
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Sir, for example, if we are giving the prompt that to ChatGPT that act as a research analyst and help me in solving certain questions,
Mhm.
will the generative AI be called as AI agent or agentic AI at that time? Because ChatGPT is
Mhm.
an example of generative AI, but here we are formulating it to work as a research analyst. तो ये specific domain हो गया. तो
Okay.
इस सिचुएशन
Mhm.
में क्या चैट जीपीटी किसी एजेंटिक या एआई एजेंट की तरह काम करेगा?
Yeah, good question. And yeah, there are two parts of this question. So when you are asking ChatGPT to behave as a research agent, let's say, so in that case, the ChatGPT will give you only, the informations within the cutoff date. It will not give you, for example, if you're asking, can you give me 2026
करेक्ट.
research paper? It will not give you any of the research paper related to 2026. Okay, ChatGPT. But if there is something called wave search tool is activated within this ChatGPT, they will give you 2026 research paper. So that is a tool calling. So that will fall under AI agent. Got it, Suvangi, if your name is correct.
यस सर. यस.
Okay. So when there will be wave search, I can show you. Okay, let me do it. Can I show you quickly? Okay, let me just show you. Don't worry. Where I was. Okay. Just give me 30 seconds. I'm showing you so that everything will be clear to you. The question is very much aligned with what I just wanted to teach. Okay, just 30 seconds and then I'm sharing my screen, so don't worry, okay? Mm. Okay, go to Foundry. Let me share my screen quickly. Just where I was, where I am. Okay. If my screen starts showing you, just do let me know, okay?
यस सर.
Is it okay? So if you see, don't get confused with this portal. This is Azure Cloud Portal. Don't get confused, okay? So if you see, there is something called create agent. Just see what I just wanted to show you. Just focus on that. So something that I want, how this, AI agent, I'm just trying to differentiate between generative AI and AI agent. I'm just showing you how it will make a difference. Okay, that's all. So just 30 more seconds, then it will create an agent and will show you that what I was just trying to say. Yeah. If you go down, just see. This is a GPT 4.0. Can you see if I hover it? Can you see everyone? This
यस
is
सर.
a one model. GPT 4.1 is a LLM, and ChatGPT is somehow built on these models. Okay. Okay. GPT
यस
4.1.
सर.
This is LLM. Okay. And the beauty of LLM is nothing. It's just giving you a natural language response, human-like response. That is why you are praising LLM. Nothing is more, interesting about LLM. They are just translating our thought or any process the chat GPT or anything that virtual assistant we work, we want one layer that can translate from numbers to human-like interpretation. That is the beauty of LLM. Okay, nothing else. Just think of it like that. So this is 4.1. If I ask questions here, okay, give me research paper related to of year 2026. Okay. So there is something called wave search. Can you see all people? Wave search. So wave search is enabled. If I, if I just removed the wave search, let's say, saved it. Let me again refresh it. Let's see whether it works or not. Let me just experiment. Give me research paper let me check whether it gives us or not. Okay. So if you're asking this, I'm just interacting with this 4.1. What it says, just read it out. I am sorry, but as of now, it is not possible to provide research paper from why? And it is saying current year is 2024. It means GPT 4.0, 4.1 is trained on 2024 data. It is what is saying the current year is 2024. Is it is it 2024? No,
No,
right?
sir.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
So only there they have a cutoff date. That is why it is saying that this is 2024. But again, research paper cannot give you from 2026. Let me activate this one. Let me go to here and enable it. Wave search and save it. Is it there or not? Okay, let me just check whether it is added on. Wave search is on. Let me refresh it and let me check whether it is working or not. Same question. Toll fee. Can you see they are giving us paper from 2026?
Yes, sir.
How?
Sir, because tool web search was used.
Tools we have used. Now this is AI agent. Earlier was generative AI. Now it is AI agent. Why? Because they have these tools. So Gen AI plus any tools equal to AI agent. Got it?
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, on
Okay.
what basis is the cutoff date for these models?
Cutoff date means obviously every LLMs typically comes with cutoff date means they say it only on to that data they have trained on. OpenAI releases that this is 2020 till 2024 data is they are trained on. So that is why if you see every single models have cutoff date. So this one maybe 4.0 has cutoff date of 2020. They are trained on only in 2023 data. This one might be 2024 possible. Okay. So cutoff date means till those date they are trained on. They have seen the internet data or whatever happened in this world, they have seen up to that one. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is why don't think GPT or any LLM as a what like they are just giving us a response like a human like a response. That is why we are praising LLM. That's all. But still we are relying on the different tools, right? That I have shown you. If I would not activate my this wave search tool, it will not give me this updated information. This is current information, right? You all people can do that, right? So Gen AI plus tools. If you are giving a tools, it means what I have done to this GPT 4.1. This was the LLM. I have given legs and wings so that it is flying. Flying means it is giving me a current information. So legs and wings are what? It's a tool. I did this. This was the one single person. I have given one strong person to this guy. Now he is like a how you say it's a strongest person now because they have a additional features. They can do tool calling, function calling, right? So just remember the wave search is one of the tool calling. Wave search is doing what? They are scraping the internet. They are giving you a path to access the internet. So what it has done, this information is coming from web, internet. These all are coming from internet, but it is passing to this GPT 4.1, and that is why we are getting like a human-like response. Got it? Coming from internet data, they have scrapped it, and scrap data is passed to LLM. Got it? Because we want a response to be more, in a natural language so that all human can understand. That is the beauty of this agentic AI. Okay. I think you people have understood what is AI agent and agentic AI right now. Hope I'm able to make you understand. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. So just have 5 minute break and then I'll come back. Okay. Just don't go anywhere. Just give me 5 minutes. Stay here. Okay. 5 minutes will come back. Maybe 5:05. Okay. It's 5:05 or what? I think. Yeah, 5:05. Okay. We'll come back. Don't go anywhere. Should I create anything or what? I don't know. Block. One minute. Delete block. Oh, still. Check. Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for confirming. So let me share my screen quickly and let's do something. Let's navigate you to the CrewAI. Okay. So we have understood this AI agent and agentic AI. Okay. And uh, so we have seen, the reason for calling something AI agent and agentic AI, okay? And also in subsequent classes, we'll work on few of the framework. There are different agentic framework. On every Saturday, Sunday, we'll work on the framework that are more industry relevant, okay? So the idea of this type of, internship is to make you industry ready, so that at least you will be if you show them that these skills in your resume, it will help you kind of upskilling and because at fresher level, if you show that you have agentic AI skills, because now industry is shifting from Gen AI to agentic AI, okay? So people who have exposure to agentic AI has more relevance in the industry, okay? So now something that I was just talking about, if you see the tool integrations that we talked about, and I showed one of the demonstrations. So the tool integrations. So a lot of tools are something that I have shown you was the wave. There are also files and APIs that in the coming classes we'll see that how we can put in the file as a tool and APIs that interact with the LLM. So today I have shown you that the how LLM can interact with the external world through tool, giving you the updated information. Okay. Also, the framework that I'm talking about, the Crew AI. Okay. So there are some agents talking to each other. There would be some orchestrations, retrieval. There would be some steps, state management. So state management is something, for example, from moving from one state to another, right? Because every single chatbot has, this state management. So you don't need to, worry about these terms, because once I show a few demos, then you will understand. Yeah. Then there is something called limit of a single LLM call. Today we have seen if you have a single LLM, there is a limitations. They cannot access live data. As I have activated the wave search, they are able to extract those informations from the websites. You can set the real-time data. They have started scrapping through this tool call. Okay. Let's say if you have this single LLM that cannot solve the problem. Okay. Also cannot take actions. Okay. LLM, we have seen that they were not taking any actions because they are limited to, they had some of the informations, they had some cutoff date. And also struggle with long and multiple steps. If you're giving the huge context to any of the LLM, they will struggle. Okay. Also, there is no specialization. So there is some limitations of this LLM. That is why this agentic AI tool calling MCPs, you might have heard of this, this model context protocol. So also we'll see in coming classes that how we can use this one of the MCPs that I'll show you that can serve as one of the tool for LLMs to give us some of the updated informations, relevant informations, grounding response, right? So that is why we work on this agentic framework that is relevant for us. Okay. So let me, do I know what is this cross it right? Clear all drawings. Okay. Cross it. Can I move or not? Okay. Now, so once we have this, there is something called agentic loop. Okay. So we have something called plan, act, and observe, and then we repeat. These are the some flows that we typically follow. Okay, for the agentic that we call it a agentic loop. So we have something called planning. So to plan, we need any LLM, because planning means we are giving some instructions in natural language. So whenever you see any plan word, it means that plan will map to any of the LLMs. Okay. Act obviously need some tools. Whenever you see any word act, it means they are talking about any of the tools. Observe means again some feedback that we get, some result, and then we repeat it. Okay, so these are the some, you can say, some structured flow of the AI agent or agentic AI. Will see the few terms: plan, act, observe, repeat, something like this. But planning and action we would see in a lot of agentic AI use cases, because planning will involve the LLM and action would involve any of the tool calling. Okay. So for example, let's say we have some of the tools, I would say. Okay. For example, let me go back to just give me some seconds. Let me share my screen again. So if you see this one, okay. So once you see this one, there are different, LLM that I was talking about. There is something called Grok. If you hit this Grok, okay, and there is something called Grok is fast, cost inference. So if you go to these websites, let me also share this to you, people. Grok, okay, how can I share it? Okay, there, right. Let me share it to you. Yeah. Let me share my screen again. Okay. So this is a grok.com. Okay. So if you see this one, this is also a language model, foundation model, I would say LLM. Okay. So for example, for any of the LLM that you use, there is a cost attached to it. Okay. So the ChatGPT, because it's a free version, they have launched for us to give us a response which we typically handle with the day-to-day life, right? But not like in enterprise level, because our use case is different when we go into enterprise level use cases. But to learn, for learning purpose, we need some of the LLMs. So Grok is a one place where we need APIs. Why we need APIs? Because APIs are lightweight and give us a response quickly, because it's not like takes a space in your coding. Because if you use any pre-trained model, it takes a lot of space and computational efficiency will decrease. That is why APIs came in the market, because you hit the, with the payload and gives you response. Only that portion will give you, right? So this Grok will help you to, give us some of the APIs. Okay. This is just one platform, I would say, where we can have these APIs and you can use it in our systems. So if you see this code, the idea here is to show you in the Python code, if you see, these are the some syntax. Okay. And we need these API keys. And this is the model basically. Okay. So OpenAI V1 model is hosted on Grok. And to access this OpenAI model of version V1, we need this Grok API key. API key will give access to this OpenAI model. And OpenAI model is a LLM. And then once we have access to this, then we'll start prompting it. Then we'll start interacting it with. Okay. So this is the beauty of this Grok. We can use it freely. Okay. There are some pricing attached to it. Let me go. If I go to start building, let's see what it gives us. So if you go here, they give you, space like this. If I go to API key, so if you see that there are different API keys that I have used. Okay. So these are some API keys. If you go here and create an API key, let's say I say CrewAI demo session. Okay. You just select no expirations and just submit it. Okay. So the API key is creating a problem. Let me submit it again. Okay. So now this is an API key. You just copy it. Okay. This is API key that we require. Okay. So you just copy, just done it, and you can copy it somewhere. Okay. Maybe your screen might not be visible, but I have copied. So what you have to do, you have to go to this console grok, okay, and create an APIs. Got it? From here. So this API is giving you an access to LLM. For example, if you need to interact with OpenAI 4.1, we need APIs. Okay, but that is a costly. There are a free APIs, Gemini APIs that you can use. But again, they have a limited, you can put them 5, 6 prompt, maybe 10 prompt, and then you consume your APIs keys, the limitations of those keys. But to have those, for learning purposes, for demonstrations, you need to have this kind of a platform where you can take those API, because API is important for us. There is something called playground. If you go here in the playground, this will give you an access to this model. You see, right? And then you can start interacting with this. For example, if I'm writing it, hi, how are you? So if you write this one and let's hit submit, let's see what it gives. So there is some problem with this model, I think. So let me again write, hi, how are you? Okay. So just start using this playground. Just see if it gives us some limitations in there. The limit request. Okay. So it has reached the request. But if you do it, it will give you a response. For me, it is somewhere it is reached. Okay. But try using this playground. Okay. To interact with this LLM. This is again a LLM. You can change it. Let's see if I'm changing this model. If I'm submitting it, let's say now I'm getting a response. Okay. So you just keep changing this model and then you'll get a response. Okay. So this is how you can work. But in the background, what Python code is doing, this Python code is giving you this response. Okay. So try to understand this one. There is also temperature, maximum tokens, top, these all things are there. And it will help you to understand that through the Python script, how it is helping us. Also, there is some prompting is there role-wise. This is a persona. This will act as assistant. This will act as, so these are the things that you see, okay, in this playground, that how my model is working, okay. Now, let me stop sharing my screen. There is one more thing that I just want to show. Okay, I'm on the same screen. Okay. Okay. Can you see my google.com screen? Can anybody confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is something which I have written is fire crawl. Okay. I'm also giving you the link for this fire crawl just so that you'll have access to it. So let me just share this one. Okay, where I can share it to you. Okay, this place. Let me share you this also. I think, yeah, okay. So fire crawl, okay. Let me stop my screen and let me share it again. I think on the right, yeah. Okay, so this is a fire crawl. So what it does, it will also help you also. So fire crawl, again, AI agent, power AI agent with clean wave data. So fire crawl will give you an access to wave data. The one that I have shown, the wave search was using this crawler part. Okay. But here how you can execute it, because Azure has inbuilt wave search part. Okay. They can have the data from internet. But for learning purpose, how you gonna use it? So again, this fire crawl is a place where we can use this API. So in AI, generative AI, agentic AI, we have to struggle with these APIs because again, we have to do our life depend on the APIs uses somehow. Somehow we can talk about the tokens in the next class. I'll talk about these tokens and some terms called token economics. So the less token we consume, it's better for our any of the applications because it saves a lot of cost for our project. Okay. So again, just navigate and explore this fire crawl, and it will give you an idea that what this platform gonna help you. Okay. So if you want to scrap data, for example, if you're working on web scrapping, so this will help you. Okay. So let me navigate to below. Have these, so if you want to scrap, uh, it can give you this scrapping. And also if you see this Python code, how it works, this is what you have to, if you pass the APIs and just give them the website URL, it will scrap the data from that website. Okay. So also it would be a task for you to, experiment with this, create some APIs. So how you're going to create an API? So you go in some pricing sections somewhere, okay, and see that the where you can use it, okay, some APIs. So it will give you, a place where we can use this API. So this is free plan. Current plan is activated for me. So for you, it will be activated. So from here, you can have those APIs. So 1,000 credit, you can use it for a month, okay. So this is Firecrawl. If you want to interact with the wave data, so the place is because it will act as a tool for us. In the AI agent, we can use. Okay. So this is what I just wanted to show, the two platform where we can build our small AI agent applications, and that is the ask, right? So now let me stop my screen and again let me show you something. Let me check if it works. Again, let me share my screen. If it is visible, do let me know. Okay. So if I show you this screen, yeah. So this is a VS Code and this is coding. So don't get afraid of this coding. And because I will be sharing this script to you and you can have a look on it. Okay. So this is a simple, a demo of a single agent that I was just talking about, a wave search agent. Okay. So what it will do, agent is given a fire crawl script tool and asked to read a wave page and produce a clean summary. The agent, powered by Claude Opus, decide on its own when to call a fire crawl, reads the script content, and write the answer. So this is something that is one agent. Okay. So if I go down, so white screen doesn't fit for me. Okay. So there are a few things that I was just talking about. If you see, there is a CrewAI framework in Python, and it has some, if you see these classes, there are three classes this CrewAI is importing. This is a module, and these are the classes. If you hover it, it will give you the agent is a class, crew is a class, process is a class, task is a class. So when you import this CrewAI module, it has a 4 class. And once you import this module, tools, it can import this fire crawl tool. Why we need AI agent tool? Because what I have given you formula was GenAI plus tool calling equal to AI agent. So here, agent, to make AI agent, we need tool. So this library, this module is doing our tool calling. And this is setting up our orchestration part, right? So this is again a tool and this is LLM. So LLM plus tool calling equal to AI agent. Okay, got it? This is LLM. LLM that we are using from is Grok. And we are defining the single agent here. We are defining the role of wave search agent, giving a goal to agent that you have to do all these things. And also providing the backstory. Backstory means providing context to this agent that you have to have this in the back of the mind, and giving a tool. Why? Because LLM alone cannot serve the purpose, cannot scrap the data. That is why we are giving this tool. Just give me 30 seconds, I'm coming back. Yeah, so when I say this, LLM plus this tool calling will make AI agent. And now we are defining this AI agent as a researcher agent, okay? And specifying the role, goal, and backstory as a context. And also we are giving a tool that through these tools and pass all these information. Once you have these information, pass it to LLMs. Okay. And then, we also get a commentary from this one that what is happening with this LLM. So this is defining our single LLM. Okay. And then we are doing this summarizations task. Okay. These are the some and setting up the crew. This is a crew. We are setting up the crew orchestrations. Okay. For that single agent. And we are running it. Okay. Now let me run it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So, what is the purpose of Crew?
Crew gives you our orchestration because you need a framework, agentic AI framework. Alone cannot work. LLM plus tool will sit somewhere in a framework. So we have, if you go up, we have these two things, tools and LLM. But these two alone cannot work. They need some framework. They need help of some person that can take those tools and LLM and orchestrate. That is why this CrewAI came into play. Okay, alone cannot work. Any
Okay.
LLM alone cannot work. They need some framework, agentic framework. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So here the orchestrator, the facilitator is CrewAI. Okay. They are facilitating to LLM and tools. Okay. What is this? Activate. Just give me 30 seconds. So here we have seen, okay, let me work. So it was .vmv, right? Okay. Then we have this Python 01 single agent. Okay, pip install environment.txt. Let me run it and then I'll explain. Okay, let me check. I will be providing you this script, so you just need to run it. Okay, I'll show you that where you have to make changes. Okay. These are basically downloading the libraries for CrewAI. Okay. Whatever library is required. Let's wait for some time.
पता क्या बोला लड़की की जो लड़के की जो माँ है तो तुम्हारे परिवार की जो चाचा ने बोला ना उसकी बहन है अरे लड़की की माँ भी बहुत अच्छा है
So this will download all libraries.
हमारे पास
So
एक प्रधान है ना वो प्यारा लगता है नीरव चाची की बहन है
can you unmute
नहीं आती थी
Supriya Roy?
मम्मी को फोन आया होता ना
So there are 144 such classes that it will. So let's wait 144. These are the modules classes that it will install. 21 by 144. Let's wait. Okay, before that, there is something called requirement.txt. Let it be. Okay. So these are the some libraries, the CrewAI tools, Firecrawl, and Python environment variable .env we have used. Now, there would be some environmental variable. So if you click it here in the examples, so it is example that what all APIs we require. So one is from this Grok that we have this LLM and Firecrawl API that I was what I have shown you, the two APIs. Okay. So where that those APIs are, these are the examples that we need. But if you go into environmental variable, the LLM provider is Grok that I'm using for the LLMs. The API, this is my API that I have taken from this Firecrawl, and this Grok APIs from this Grok websites. Okay. And this is Anthropic, I think if it is there, hopefully it is there. Okay. So let's see if it is working or not. Okay. So then we will change it, otherwise let it be. Okay, I think LLM provider is Grok. So let's check if it works or not. Okay. So this will give you the environmental variable, those APIs, the environmental variable that we are using for these applications. Okay. And there are two things, requirement.txt, .env, and there is one single Python script for this CrewAI, creating a single AI agent. Okay, let's wait. I think 144. Okay, let's execute it. Let's see if how much time it takes. 195 by 144. A lot of classes, libraries. 107. Okay, 113. 4. 119. Let's see that how it works. One 24. There are different modules, classes, these are installing. So 125 Kubernetes, every single thing there is for you. So I can scroll up the facility. Why it is something, let me theme, color theme. Okay, now it is good. Now it shows. Okay, so it is 126 by 144. Okay, let's wait how much time it takes. Okay, before it is happening, let me share my screen. Oh, I think it will. Okay. Instructor 144. Okay, now it is executed. Okay, requirement.text. Let me, okay, where I was, well, what I have done, I don't know. Okay, so here. So if you just run this, okay, the Python script, let's see if this works for us or not. Okay. So you have to run it like this. First, what I have done, create a virtual environment. So this is for virtual environment. So let me share you here. Always remember that this is for virtual environment and how to activate the virtual environment. So we have to write this. This will activate the where you are, people are virtual environment just to activate. Once it is done, then what you have to do? Okay. What it is saying. Okay, fire crawl had some issue. Okay, what? Let me check if API keys. Okay. To install, unable to install LLM, Grok, LLM versatile. Okay, this LLM had some issue. Okay, let me run this one multi-agent. Any of our it works, then it's okay. Otherwise, we'll check. Okay, Python. Then we'll say 02. Then we'll say multi, and we have this agent dot py. Let's check. Otherwise, we have to change this LLM. Let's see. Okay, and the third one that, okay, let me requirement.text. So what we have to do, requirement.text, let me share that one also. Just run it like that, requirement.text. Then it will work. Where is requirement.text for us? Yeah, this one. You have to write this requirement.text. Let me share it to you. This one. Okay. So this is requirement.text. Okay. You have to run it in a sequence way. And the Python, if you have the same Python script name, then you can run it Python and then name. Yeah. So if you see giving us, the model name that is unable to initialize LLM, this model is not working. Okay, versatile one. Okay. So let me go to this model is not working. Okay. So let me copy it and just go to our where we'll go .env. Okay. So if the model name is there, okay, LLM provider. So let me check if they are giving us some any of the LLM provider. Go up and it is saying, okay, unable to initialize LLM with model Grok versatile. Just copy it. Go to this single agent first because multiple agent has followed the same thing, and we will do this Control F and put this one. Okay, let's check if it is used anywhere. Okay, versatile one. It is not used. Okay. Now in multi-agent, do this Control F and paste it. Enter it. Okay. So right now it is also not used here. Okay. So now we'll go to this website called Firecrawl. Okay. Let me share you my screen again. Where is Firecrawl? Okay. This model was working. So let me share my screen entirely. Okay. Hope my entire screen is visible to you. Okay. So if you go other, if you have seen, it was not working, the Grok model. Okay. So it is about this model. Okay. So now this is working for us. Okay. So which model we have used? Meta Llama, this one. This one, Meta Llama instruct. Let me copy it. If it works, then it's okay. Otherwise, we'll experiment. Okay, no issues. Because these are the models that API keys gives us. Okay. And let me go to my VS Code. Where is my VS Code? Yeah, this one. So go to this environmental variable. Okay. And Grok API key is here. If I provide this Grok provider and LLM Control S and go to this single agent, and if you see LLM equal to get LLM, okay, get LLM equal to get LLM, okay, and then we will see it whether it works for us or not. Let me again cross check. So Control S, then we just run it single agent first. Let's check. Otherwise, we have to experiment with the LLM. It's not able to connect, okay, through this API key. So let's check whether it is connecting with this LLM or not. So let's wait and let's check whether this is giving us a response back or not. So if you scroll up, if you see this one, okay, so go to split zone here. Where is our, okay, erase the exceptions, okay. So Olama hosted one, the issue is that, oh, okay, or pip install light LLM. Let me check. First, let me check if it works, then we'll go with this. So is not hitting our LLM. Again, same thing, okay? So LLM provider set it to Grok or Anthropic in .env. Okay, set it to Grok. Okay. Okay, it is in the Grok only. GROK Grok. Just check if it works. GRO cube Grok. And just say save. Okay. Save all or save. Just put clear CLS, then put this one. Same thing will come, I think. Then we'll change the LLM. Which LLM provides agent? Grok. So we'll use the same thing. Let's check if this works or not. Because this API will give access to all the Grok models. So let's check. gives or not. Okay, same thing will come, I think. This is pip install. Again, let just run it. Pip install this one. I think maybe the library or something. Let's check. To fix either to install LightLM broad UV or pip install this one. Let's check. Hope it works for us. Because it's a tiny LLM, so let's hope it works for us. So light LLM, let's check if light LLM gives us some hope that will give us an interface to connect with any of the Grok model using this RAPI key. So okay, LLM provider Grok, it is used. Okay, let's check. Let's give a try if it works for us. Let's see that how they are responding if we are running this agent. If it is connecting with our LLM or not, because through this API key, it should connect. Okay. So now we are just struggling with the connecting with the LLM. Okay. So because it is again open source free. So maybe due to some libraries, but again, let's see and come up with the solutions first. Okay. Hope it works for us. Okay, so now it is working for us. Okay, yeah, good. So if you go up, now it is working. The one library that we haven't installed it. If I scroll up, okay, so you have seen there are a lot of. Let me go up. Okay, so what it has done. Okay, so once you run it, so Crew is started. Okay, so Crew is a framework. Okay, so it's a framework. For example, LLM plus tool cannot work in isolation. We need a crew. We need a agentic AI framework. Okay. So here we are using CrewAI and we are giving this crew two things, LLM and tool. And then they onboarded. And if you see the few things that you will see like this, ID is this, and the framework they are using is Crew, and the Crew has started. This is the initial task that you have seen. Okay, if you go here, what I was just explaining, okay, where is the single agent? This one. Okay, if I go up, what it does, has a crew, process and task and agent. So they have initialized it. They have started. Crew has started this frame. And now, second one is task started. You will see like this. This is a task. This one is the class. Task will start. And this is responsible for task execution, if you see this one. So what is the task? Scrap the wave. And the website is the fire crawl. Using the fire crawl tool. And then write a summary of a page. This is the task given to the crew using this agentic framework. Okay, now let me go down. And this is the ID. Okay, now here the agent has started working. This agent has started working on. Now we specified that work as a web research agent. And what was the task? Scrap the web page at this using your fire crawl tool. Then write a summary for the page main points. We are summarizing it. Then again, if you go, sorry, then they have started tool calling. This is the main part. Tool calling means LLM has gone extra mile to scrap the website's informations. So this is called a tool calling. Okay. What was the tool? we have used fire crawl wave search tool that we have used. Okay, if you see this one, fire search website tool, this is a R tool, and the URL we are hitting is firecrawl.dev. Tool started executing and they have started scrapping all the information. These are the output of a scrapping. The tool has given this as scrapping. And once they have scrapped everything, then the task completions. Task is completed. And what was the task? Scrap this website and then summarize it as a wave search agent. Now task is completed. This is the final answer. This is a task completion. If I go down, the crew has completed the task with this ID, and the final output is the web page at this is about Firecrawl, a context API that enables user to search, scrap, and interact with the web at a scale, providing clean and structured data to AI systems. This is a Firecrawler. If you see in the pointed way they have given us, because we are summarizing it, offers a variety of features including every single thing. Okay, got it? And notable links they have also provided us. These are the links they have provided us. Got it? So this is how we have built one small AI agent using CrewAI framework. Got it? Anyone has any questions so far? Anyone has any question? No, right? Okay, no issues. So now let me share my screen. You have seen the CrewAI executions, and we are able to execute it. There was one libraries, the light LLM that I was missing. Okay, so once we have had those libraries in place, we are able to connect it with our LLM through this API keys. So these things we have understood. The CrewAI that I was just talking about, this is the logo of a CrewAI. Work as a orchestrator. Okay, so the few, even I have shared the websites, so you can go through those websites and see that what all use cases you people can work on this CrewAI. Okay, and there are a few more framework in the coming days I will be explaining. LangGraph, Microsoft AutoGen, and semantic kernel. There are three the framework that I will be talking about, and that will help you to understand all the major agentic AI framework which are industry relevant. Okay, so if you see the LangGraph, comparing with this CrewAI, very flexible, low level design state machine is there, and it's a graph based. AutoGen has a strong conversation multi-agent pattern. OpenAI Swarm is lightweight. CrewAI has again high-level role, have a task models, quickly built, reusable, and multi apps that you can build on. Okay, and CrewAI is very clear, declarative in nature that we have seen. We can easily read and explain because it's very explainable, because you have seen a lot of explanations inside that. Okay, and crew can work on collaborations. Okay, for example, if you have some deterministic pipeline to build, it's like a workflows. Deterministic means something you know the flow pre-hand. That is a deterministic. Okay, and the something this is again the code that I had shown you, the explanations of the code. We have defined this agent, given a role as wave search. It will work as a wave research agent. Add a goal, provided a backstory as a context, add a tool and LLM, both agent exposure to this agent. When you provide LLM and tool to any agent, it will become an AI agent. And when you start taking action, then it will be agentic AI. Okay. Now, where I was. Now we have a task. Again, these classes, what was the task? Task will have some, scrapping things, summarizing the key point. This is again, within that crew, we have a different, module, processes, subtask. Okay. So this is a task again. The functions that we are seeing. The crew is, again, having those things in a single, plate, you can say the kind of a functions here, right? We have declared this object inside that agent, task, process, inside all these things. Because if you want to have those orchestration of a CrewAI, then we have to write it like this. This is Python script that I'm trying to explain. But here, if you see, there is sequential task run one after another. This is a sequential process. It's like a flow. It's like a workflows. If you have some task in a flow, in a sequence, then we call it as a workflows. So here we cannot summarize first and then we scrap. First we have to scrap from websites, then you will summarize it. So the sequence is important for us. You cannot do parallel processing. You cannot do that. If one task is executed, you have to wait because the output of one task will serve as the input of other. But when we are doing async task, async means we are not dependent on output of one task on another. Then we do async one. Okay. Now we have this firecrawl tool. These all things, scrapping and all this, what I have explained to you, that scrapping tool we have activated to connect with the external, the websites, to have those data scrapped from the websites. Okay. Then we have these flows, that what will be the flows? I mean, kind of whether it's linear or non-linear flows. These all things are there in the flows, but we are not much concerned about this flow because it's a basic agent that we have built on today. And the LLM, so again, we need some of the LLMs, but by default, Grok was there. You can change it to few models also. If you want to use this Claude, it's a paid one. But free, if you're using this Grok API key, you can access this model, Grok/Llama 3.370B versatile. Okay. So only we need an LLM to have responses in human-like response. A content we want in a human-like response. So that is why we have to rely on these kind of LLM at least to explain or translate the data which are coming from our analysis, translated back into our human-like response. So that will serve as a, you can say the LLM, the purpose of LLM. And Firecrawl, again, to scrap the data from the websites. So the tool that we have used is Firecrawl tool. So AI agent had capability of those tools plus LLM. So tool plus LLM equal to AI agent. Okay. So this is what we are trying to achieve today. And we have seen the two use cases, one from this Azure, where we had this wave search, other one from the CrewAI, that we have seen end to end, that how we can have those websites in place and scrap those details and summarize it a main point, right? So the crew, we needed a kind of a framework to orchestrate all those agents putting together and having those orchestrated in a workflows manner so that our use case will be solved. So something which we have worked today. Okay. And this is again from the you can say the flows. It was LLM, then we have built agent, defined task, had created the CrewAI, and then we have kicked off. So given the summary back, right? So this was the flow that we have used. So when to use CrewAI? When we need some collaborations and some self-organizations kind of a thing. When we have open-ended task, okay, then we have to use CrewAI, because when we say research and write, it's like open-ended thing. How much to research and how much to write, right? And if you want some minimal orchestration, then we need to have this CrewAI, okay? And when to use flows? When you need deterministic result, when you have a repeated pipeline, because when we are very sure of some of the tasks, and depend on, for example, one steps depend on other, then we need this flow, because kind of a sequential task, and have some of the mixed code with the CrewAI, then we use this flow that we call it as a workflows. So we also need to understand that the way we use this CrewAI, the framework that I will be teaching you on every, the weekend, that the different framework, agentic framework, that will help you also to solve some of the business use cases, because you cannot use every single framework for, every single task. Okay. So the key takeaway today's session was, again, when we say agents, we have some LLMs and use of tools, okay, and act in a loop. So that will work as an agent. But when you say agentic framework, we have some of, the action part. And the CrewAI models that we have used, some of the agents that we have used had a task, crew for the orchestration, and the workflows if you have some sequential tasks, some like one task, output of one task will serve as input to other. So that we call it as a flows. And for reasoning, that we have used the grok models for the reasoning, and Firecrawls provided the wave scrap result, access to internet. Whatever had an internet from those URL, we have scrapped it and summarized it. Okay, so this is what we can say the takeaway of this CrewAI framework, and we have understood it well. So, I mean, if anyone has any questions, you can ask. Okay, I will be sharing these PPTs and the code, so don't worry about the code. Okay. Any questions? Anybody has any questions? Anyone? Any questions? I'm waiting for questions. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, what is the question? Streamlit. Okay, so Streamlit is like a UI interface. So I would suggest not to use Streamlit here, RUC, because the reason for not using, Streamlit is like it's like a local development. Let's say if you have created, let's say, generative AI applications and you want to show it to your client, like demo purpose, right? So people use some of the UI framework where you have some of the UI built like a websites, and the logics are built using your Gen AI or Agentic AI solution. So, I mean, a kind of logics wrapped into some of the UI is called the Streamlets. So that applications typically, but I would suggest to use the fast APIs. I will be showing you in the coming classes that how you can expose your output as a fast API. The reason is that fast API can be, can be used inside the UI framework. There are different UI framework. Okay, so that is the beauty. Okay, so 1 minute. Yeah, okay. So any questions so far? Okay. So I will be explaining you, don't worry about this fast API. That will help because it's a production grade API that you will start working on. It's a backend part. Okay, so it will help you also. Because in organizations, people use this fast API, not Streamlit. Okay, but it's good that if you know this is Streamlit, it is again a good thing. So I think Santanu sir is here, or Santanu sir is here. Okay, so I think today let me end this today's session, and tomorrow we'll connect and we'll work on the framework, multiple agent framework. Okay, so and then we'll study more. Okay, so the agentic framework, then we'll proceed further. Okay. Thank you so much for listening me and also asking a question. So even if you have any questions, you can put in a chat and I'll start at this. So thank you so much. Okay.